Two, one. Welcome to the Growth Network, a platform made to connect people dedicated to growing and becoming the version of yourself that you're born to become. I'm sat today with a good friend of mine, teammate of mine, Keyyaun Batchman. Keyyaun, thank you for coming.
I appreciate
Appreciate
you
it.
for having me.
Of course, bro. You know what? I just found out. I just literally just found this out recently. You're the only player in Chaminade basketball history to average a triple double in a
Oh
season.
yeah.
If anyone that doesn't know, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal,
Yeah,
David Lee, those are all NBA All Stars.
yeah.
Like they went to Chaminade Preparatory High School, and you were the
Facts.
only guy to average a triple double. That's just a crazy stat to me. Not
Yeah,
only because I know you and like you're a quiet guy. Like to me, it makes sense on the basketball court. Guys know what you can do on the basketball court. It makes sense,
yeah,
but it's like you don't hold yourself like a guy, or you know you have like a guy like Jason Tatum and a guy like Bradley
yeah.
Beal, and you're like they hold themselves like I'm that guy. You hold yourself like yeah I'm him, but but at the same time it's like I just can't I do this like
Yeah,
it's just
I ain't
regular
gotta talk about it.
it's regular like he's like and I'm just like
Yeah, yeah, that's true
it's
though.
regular I'm like that. But that's anyways that was just something I wanted to talk about, but and we were talking about the like the get to know you posts
Yeah,
that MBU just did the for like all of the guys. And I said, what was it? You said your favorite show was Boomerang.
yeah.
What's
It's a
Boomerang?
movie.
What is Boomerang? I've never heard of it.
All right, so Boomerang. For those who don't know, it's an old movie. It's an old school movie. My dad actually put me on. It's with Eddie Murphy.
Hmm.
It's about him just being a gentleman to the ladies and stuff like that. So
Uh-huh.
kind of got me into a mindset of how to approach that world, how to be a proper gentleman, and it's also funny. I mean, it's Eddie Murphy,
Right.
So it's a cool old school movie. I like old school things, so yeah,
Hmm.
it's cool.
I was more of a Will Smith guy.
Will
Like
Smith,
I was more of a Will Smith guy. Like growing up, like I was Fresh Prince of Bel Air
yeah,
through and through. Like I used to love
I
that.
like
Like
Martin. See, I'm like I love Will,
mm,
but Martin, I just feel like he's a little bit more funny.
Who's
I go
Martin?
for that. Martin Lawrence,
Martin
yeah, he
Lawrence.
got a TV show called Martin, old school TV show too.
Hmm.
Uh, just funny, man. I go for the
Yeah.
OD funny guy.
But it's like like Eddie Murphy and Will Smith have that same kind of like casual funny.
Yeah,
Like it's
I
just
agree.
you know what I'm
I
saying.
agree with
It's
that.
like they just kind of slide something in
Just
there. And
naturally, like it
right.
ain't forced.
It just comes to them. Like
Yeah, no,
it's
that's
just
funny. You're right though.
yeah for sure. What shows
Yeah,
you like?
cool, man.
What shows is it like? What shows do you like other Eddie Murphy guys or like, other like
So some good shows that I do like is cooking shows.
cooking shows?
Yeah, yeah. Most of these things I get from my dad.
Oh okay.
Just being around him, he loves cooking. He loves watching cooking shows.
Hmm.
For me, they kind of become like a calmness thing. Um, when I watch cooking shows, it's more like I'm a person who likes food as well.
Hmm.
So to watch them take pride in their in their dream or whatever they're doing is kind of amazing to me as well as me liking food. So I kind of learn uh, how to cook and how to do certain things, even though I don't do it right now. But I know eventually when that time comes, I kind of learn those things. I like
You don't know how to cook?
no, I do, but I just don't. It's like
Oh
yeah, it's like I see
yeah
it, I know how to do it, but it's
right.
like
How do you know how to if you don't do it?
I did it before. I do it before. I
Okay.
do it one time just to make sure I ain't tripping. And
Right.
then I'm like, all right, cool, I got it now. And I just
Okay.
let my dad do it. He love cooking.
Right.
Another good show,
What's he good at cooking? My
man.
bad. I didn't mean to cut
No,
you
you
off, but
good, you
like,
good.
what's he good at? Like, what's like in the household where you just like
So
hey
like a
dad, they throw
go-to
it.
meal with dad,
Uh,
got to be some chicken breast. I ain't gonna give away too many secrets, but he put a little sauce on
yeah.
top. He got some fire green beans, some good corn, wild rice, and mashed potatoes. That's like I think he probably gonna make that tonight.
Bro.
That's like a little thing whenever I'm with him. So
Yeah. But
yeah,
you were gonna
yeah.
say some more shows. You were gonna
Some
say,
more shows. I'm watching this now, Person of Interest. It's,
man, that's so
yeah,
good.
that's a
It's
fire show.
so good,
That's a fire show, bro.
bro. Like,
It's a low
how far
key
did you get?
show.
How far have you got so far?
I
I
didn't
watched it years ago.
I didn't
So,
rewatch it. I
oh,
just learned about it last year, literally. Just learned
oh
about it
yeah,
last year. I done rewatched it about 4 or 5 times all the way through.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
man, them shows is
Man,
different.
it's good because it's like this guy's like completely off the grid. This
Yeah,
guy's like, and it's so crazy. Just like, man, I haven't watched it in years. You gotta remind me, like,
yeah,
you might have to remind me some of this stuff. But like this guy is like faked his own death.
yep,
Then he like he finds out about this other guy
yep.
who's served in the military. He's has he gone off the grid yet, or he helped this guy go off
He's
the
just
grid?
homeless,
He's
homeless
he was a
now.
homeless guy just getting
Yep,
into street fights on the train, right?
yeah.
That was it. It was in New York.
Yeah, he was in New York, got on a train, just living his life, just
Yeah,
passing by, homeless vet. Um, Getting into fights, people fighting him. He knows how
yeah,
to fight, but he's not fighting
yeah,
back. But the
yeah.
guy, Finch, the one that's,
Finch,
yeah,
yes,
he kind of helped him get back acclimated into that world and
yeah.
kind of told him it was a better cause. We can do this for. I got a machine that pushes out numbers
It was a
that,
social security number, right?
yep, that
Yeah,
tell you the person and you find that person and help prevent them from dying. So
right.
yeah, I think that's cool.
That's a
That's
dope
cool to me.
show.
Yeah,
Imagine something like that in real life, though.
yeah,
Like, you think there's really somewhere out
yeah,
there like that?
for sure. I feel like it's yeah, there's a
You
lot
think
that
about
could go
like the
with that.
dark web, like you think about like stuff like that. You ever think about stuff like that?
Yeah, I kind of I don't get it though, but I think about it like you know how people say the yeah like dark web
Mm,
stuff like that. How can you sell stuff on that? How do you even
right.
get to it? That's
I mean, you know what's crazy is like I thought it was such a crazy concept until like I mean I was a crazy young kid. Like I used to just like look up this stuff and like I never went on the dark web,
yeah.
but like I would look at like YouTube stories about it.
Just being curious.
Yeah, and I'd just be like, there was this one story on YouTube. Like I was a kid, like I used to like take the bus to meet my best friend outside his work, and
Uh,
we would ride the bus back towards where I even just came from, just so I could ride the bus back with my best friend.
yeah.
And then we used to but like on the way there, it was like an hour's journey. And then I'd be waiting for him for some time, and there was this story. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was just this guy who ordered a hitman on himself just to see what would happen. And he was living in I think it was like outside of Vegas. It was like in the desert. Like he was like living out in the middle of nowhere in
Hmm.
Vegas. And this person like tracked him down. He didn't give no information to this person. He just gave a name. And he's like, kill this person. And it was him. And it was so crazy. And he's talking about like this person showed up at his door, but like he wasn't home. Like he was like pulling up to his home, but because like
Yeah.
he lives in the middle of nowhere, like he could see this person outside his door, like knocking on the door, and he's like, I'm not going home.
Yeah. Facts.
So he he leaves, and man, it's just like the whole story goes on, and like he ends up killing the hitman after like 2 weeks of being chased by this guy. And yeah, like these whole
That's
stories.
crazy. First off,
It
why are you doing it on yourself?
me, I was a 13-year-old listening to
Uh,
these 13, 14. No, I'm lying. I was like I think I was 15. I think I was 15 listening to these stories.
that's still young though.
I was like, man, that's so cool.
You talking about that's so
I
cool.
was like, that's so cool. I was like, man, I want to do some stuff like that, but I'm not gonna kill myself.
Yeah, nah.
But it just sounds exhilarating.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but I
it's
don't know.
different.
But how do we even get onto the dark web? How did we,
Hey,
oh, the person of
yeah,
interest.
person of interest.
But it's like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. You so we were talking a bit about the importance of self as well recently,
Yeah.
and just like could you like describe that to me and like kind of like show your point of view?
So what I mean by importance of self is knowing how important you are to this world.
Hmm.
We all get so caught up, especially now with social media. We all get so caught up on how we want to perceive ourselves or um, what we're trying to do and what we see.
Hmm.
We don't forget we forget our actual journey and we forget how important our life is to ourselves and the people around us.
Hmm.
Um, like your mom, for instance, who like you was literally in her belly for 9 months.
Right.
To think about that is kind of
Right.
it's
It's a
kind of
crazy
crazy.
concept. I don't think people really think about
No, like, and I
that.
literally just came back from seeing my niece. My niece just born
Hmm.
was just born
Congrats. That's awesome.
today. Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
And that kind of hit home.
Hmm.
I was like, wow, like I can't wait till she get older so I can tell her how important she is,
Right.
not only to me but to herself.
Hmm.
I think we have to take time out and really find ourselves first and then we'll understand how important we are. Like you'll understand what you don't want to be around. You'll understand what makes you happy eternally, not externally.
Hmm.
Internally is important. What makes you tick, what When you wake up in the morning, why do you feel this way? Was it something you ate? But you only know that because you know how important you are to
Hmm.
this world. How like
Right.
I'm religious, so I believe God has a plan and set out a journey for all of us. It's just up to us um, about how we proceed on that path. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I think everybody is important.
Hmm.
Like no matter if you like them, no matter if you're friends with them, I will always be genuine and pure to everybody. I will always be like, man, I wish the best for you
Hmm.
because like your journey is totally different from mine.
Right.
Even if we're on the same path, like I just wish the best for you because you are important. So I think that's a hard concept for us to think because we're just always going, going, going. We're always trying to get to the next day. We're always trying to get to 2 weeks from now or get to that next job opportunity or whatever is next to come. But we're not really living or embracing ourselves and
Hmm.
understanding how important we are.
Hmm.
So yeah,
It's a weird thing to think about because it's like we live in this physical realm. We don't live in the like in the conscious realm of like where everything's really happening, like this conscious or spiritual or
yeah,
like last time I even posted a video, I wasn't even religious, but now like I told you the other day, like I finally like said
which is
I'm
dope.
gonna be a Christian. I'm a Christian now,
Yeah, I think that's
and
dope,
like I
man.
think and like it's something that like it really like it happened within me, and it's something where it's like you know it's my point being is like it's hard to live in that it's like hard to live in that spiritual conscious realm of like understanding your importance
Hmm.
because this physical realm doesn't show you that. This
No,
physical realm is harsh. Like the
yeah,
physical life we live is harsh. It sucks. It might seem like there's a lot of ups and downs, and sometimes it can seem like there's a lot more downs in the physical realm. But then when you put yourself in that spiritual realm, and you connect the dots, and you know what I mean by connect the dots
yeah,
and just like bringing
figuring
thing
it out.
bringing old events together and really
Yeah,
just like figuring out why things happened and like all of this stuff. It's like it just like brings it all together and it's like
I think that's important. Important to not only understand the physical realm but embrace it
mhm,
because that's part of the journey. Um, Life is nowhere near easy. Like especially if you're chosen or you're um, favored by God. Like I learned this recently. You could be favored and anointed by God, but you also, because you're favored by Him, you could be favored by the devil. So he's going to try his best to get you because he's jealous. He's angry. He's mad that you're favored by the Almighty. So um, I feel like it's important to understand this world that we're living in. So even though my end goal is to get to Him every single day, no matter who it is, I hope I touch somebody um, in a spiritual way to where they can figure themselves out, or I can leave an imprint enough to where they want to even start. Knowing and letting them know like it's okay. Like my favorite thing to say is it's okay
mhm,
because it could be worse, it could be better,
yeah.
but it is what it is.
I noticed that.
You
I
know, like
noticed that. Yeah.
that took time for me as well though. I haven't always been this person. I haven't always been this religious guy. I actually just really got deep into it, but when I got into it, I really went full ahead.
Mhm,
And that kind of goes back to the importance of self. I learned that because I changed my life and gave it to
mhm.
Christ. So um, it's a lot of good that come with it. It's a lot of good that comes with it all. It just depends on how you look at it.
What was that to describe that journey, that spiritual journey for you?
Whew, so not an easy one. Um, I've always grown up in a house of Christians,
Hmm.
me and my mom, but I've never really. I had some tragedies that happened to me, um, and it kind of altered how I viewed things. And I always felt that I was being picked on by God, but in the wrong way.
So,
And so it took me till now to realize, no, you're not being picked on. You're being helped by Him. You're being the devil is trying to get to you because he knows your potential. He knows how far you can go. He knows how important you are to God and how important you are to this world. I didn't understand that until recent,
Right.
but I used to always think I could do it. Like I could fix it. No, 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 don't worry about it. I do it. I could fix it. I do it for myself. I get myself here when it's it's not possible. It's not possible. I lived my whole life like that, and once I decided to give my life to Him, doors start opening for me. Every door that I could imagine, trying to overcome um, certain things that I had internally, I was dealing with, wind up overcoming in like the shortest amount of time I ever would have thought would happen, because I gave it to Him. So now I understand my time. I value my time. I value my peace. I value my mental capacity, because I know how important it is, because I just learned it. And I value Him on a different way. So that journey has not been easy. I've been through a lot, and if nobody knew me, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't know, because I don't wear it. Because there's more to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not over. It's kind of the beginning. I feel like once we all figure out, either give our life to Christ or figure out what we're doing in this world, and we alter our mindset towards that, I feel like we live our second life. When you figure out what you were put on this earth to do. So I feel like I'm on my way to living my second life.
That's awesome. It's like it's crazy. Like as you were speaking right there, it's like it literally felt like I was speaking to myself, because like it's like I genuinely feel that when you say like I've been through a lot, and like you're describing like a victim mentality. And it's
Yeah.
like, and I hope you don't mind me calling it that,
No,
because that's how I describe it to myself.
that's what it is.
Because that's what I describe it like that, and I say that as a way of being harsh on myself as well, because I know I fall into the trap of being a victim and saying, I always say like, why me?
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, I'll take. And then it would be like, I try and pull myself into the whole mindset of, nah, I can take this, I can do this, it's me. Like if anyone can handle this stuff, I'm stronger. I'm mentally stronger. I'm physically stronger.
Yeah.
I can do this. And then I just kept failing. And one thing you didn't, I don't think you've really, I don't know if you've done this in your life, but me, I've clung to temporary vices, temporary solutions.
I think we all have.
And it's and it when I came to realize like that was really not going to help. Genuinely, it really, it's only been like this week where I've really been able to actually let go of those vices. Um,
That's an accomplishment.
so yeah, no, that I
That's a
really
really big
like that's
accomplishment.
something that I've actually felt really good about this week. Like genuinely, like just feeling happy about it, or just like
Yeah.
being able to say like, now it really is just me and him. It's not just this other stuff that's not, not helping, but it helps now, but it doesn't, but it hurts long term. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like just stuff like that. So,
As you
but
prolong your journey with Him, um, you will see that you don't need nothing else besides Him. Um, I'm experiencing that now. I'm like, I really don't need nothing but Him. I'm fine. Um, totally fine. And back to the victim mentality. Yeah, I used to be like, why me? Like, why is this happening to me? Feeling like I'm the only person in the world who's dealing with that.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, because one of the people, and I haven't even spoken to, this is a good friend of mine, but I haven't spoken to her in I don't even know how long. But her name was India, and she was a friend of mine in England back when we were younger, like maybe like 15ish. And she is one of the most like her. She has a brother, an older brother, who has muscular dystrophy. I don't know. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Muscular dystrophy is basically where like essentially your muscles don't work,
Hmm.
like meaning he's paralyzed. Like dude can't move. He's in a wheelchair, and he has to be moved everywhere, and like he needs a carer to do everything for him 24/7. Um, but he's an awesome guy. He can speak, and like he's an awesome guy. Like the guy is amazing. He just can't really do much for himself. And India is actually his full-time carer. She's paid by the government to look after him.
Okay.
And so this family has obviously gone through a lot. The mom, the dad, the sister in India, and Jack, the son with muscular dystrophy. That every single one of them individually there's an argument to be made for them to be the nicest human being on the planet. Like they are amazing and amazing individuals, and every single one of them have gone through so much. Just through, I think it was a year or two ago, the dad actually just passed away, and again, the nicest guy ever. That broke my heart, and it's like I don't think I know a family that's been through as much as that family,
Mm.
and they are the nicest people ever. And it was really around the time that, especially when the dad passed away, when I was like, and there can't be a God if, if there really cannot be a God if these people are this pure-hearted and this amazing of individuals, and this continuously, just year after year after year, something horrible happens to them, and it's just like, man. But then eventually you get a perspective of like, and it's because they keep going through this stuff, and it's because they have this positive mindset, and they have this group, like as a collective, they continue to hold each other together and hold each other in that positive mindset. And it's like, no, it's because they went through that they are such amazing people. Yes.
You start to become genuine. You start to understand how, the small wins in life, which I wake up and pray to every day. I thank God for being able to speak, being able to wake up, being able to eat, being able to look, being able to drive, being able to play this game that I love so much, which is basketball. Like I said before, we get so consumed about the day, but the day, like tomorrow, we get so consumed with tomorrow or next week, we forget like how blessed we are to even wake up the next morning. Certain people don't. Like you said, that family going through all of that, man, that's I pray for them. My heart is with them, and they understand the true joys of life. We predicated on what we want, right?
Mm.
Instead of the basic needs. We don't even look at the basic needs first. We go immediately to what we want. And he doesn't have the basic needs that I got, right? But he still enjoys life. He still views life as a great thing, right? So it's like that goes back to my saying: it could be worse,
Mm.
it could be better,
Right.
but it is what it is. It's a blessing because it'll always be worse. It could be better.
Mm.
So I think that's an amazing group of people,
Mm-hmm.
and if they do believe, I think they would get to Christ, being pure hearted and genuine, and as amazing as you saying they are. I think they're great people,
Mm.
just by off of that.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they are religious or not, but I should
They're
ask.
just
I need to reach out to them actually. I do definitely need to reach out. But
yeah.
what was your is your father religious as well? Because you were talking about him at the beginning and just like how close you guys are. He's
Mm,
religious as well,
yeah.
and he helped you a lot in that journey. Like how what was that
Uh,
guide? He didn't.
no, I wouldn't say um, this journey is something I had to do alone. It wasn't for nobody else but me. I was somebody who I was. I'm blessed. I have a lot of people in my life who can help me, protect me for certain things in life. In a sense, coddle me. Not saying they did. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying I would immediately, if anything wrong with my life, I would immediately turn to them instead of trying to figure it out. So no, I didn't even want to go to them. I wanted to figure it out myself because at the end of the day, it's my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I want for me, and when nobody understand what's going on with me unless I know what's going on with me. So this journey, um, I have help, but I'm walking alone, and in a sense, I'm really not because I have Him, I have God, but I had to figure out if I really wanted this. I questioned myself: do you really want Christ? If you do, we're not finna play around. We're finna go all the
Hang
way.
on. I have to stop you. I got to check something real quick. My
Okay.
fault. I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were talking about you question yourself and uh, you want to
So
continue where
I
you're at.
questioned myself before I made my transition to become religious
Mm-hmm.
on if I really wanted it. So, because I wanted to change my life. I didn't like the direction it was going in because I was so consumed with thinking that I can do everything myself, which is physically impossible and mentally, most importantly, impossible. So I walked that journey alone. And that goes to what I preach to myself is self love. Um, Taking yourself out to eat by yourself. I like going to movies. Go to movies by yourself. Learn yourself. And I learned myself. I learned that I needed him. I learned that I longed for him and I wanted him. So um, during that process, I became a better person because I learned more about myself. And I had people who could help me, but I didn't have nobody. I made sure of that so I can figure it out for myself because it's my life. I have to take control of my life. So I walked this journey, and sometimes it could get extremely lonely. It could get it could be some nights or days that you feel like you're alone, but I believe it's a part of the journey. Maybe it's that season in my life where I need to keep figuring things out for myself. So yeah, I didn't want no help on this journey. I just wanted to find him for myself.
I get that because like I'm someone who, I was alone for a lot of my life. Like like no one wanted to be around me. Like I was bullied from when I was young. Like this that, and the other. Like I didn't have my first friend. I was 15 years old, and it turns out he wasn't even my friend. So like I didn't have a genuine friendship until I was 18 years old, and it was like, yeah, I was always alone, and I used that to kind of fuel this depression and this anger and this hatred towards the world and this like I don't like it was just like I was just full of hate and, like I said, victim mentality, and it was just all this was just spiraling up, and eventually it was just like all it took was that one friend. All it took was just that one person to show me, because like your family, like to me, it was like it was hard to really, yeah, like my mom is supposed to love me, my
Hmm.
dad's supposed to love me, my sister's supposed to love me, but for someone who's not supposed to, but they made that choice, and like every time I call my best friend and we say I love you after when we hang up, it's like no, they made that choice to love me. They didn't have to, and it's like they was like
It's genuine.
exactly, and it's like then that was the first time that someone showed me love without reason. Um, and then from there, I think that kind of might have been where what started the journey of realizing that yeah, God can love me. And it's like He really knows me. Like my best friend knows what I want her to know. She know your
Yeah,
friend, people, earthly beings. They know what you want to tell them. He knows everything.
everything,
He knows
everything.
everything, and so to kind of accept that He loves me, it was a weird journey. It was a weird one. I don't think I really even understand it now, but it's just like it's it's just you just feel more connected with people. You just feel more connected. Like I used to always wonder, like, why is it that like people from the same religion just seem to understand each other, even if it's the first time they've met each other. And now I get it
Yeah,
because it's like you're connected. There's something where it's like, you say like, oh, we have something in common. Like, yeah, but we have something in common because we play basketball. Nah, that's not the same.
yeah, for
It's
real,
not the same.
for
Like
sure.
because it's something like our hearts are connected. Like I don't know if necessarily our hearts are connected. Is might be the right word.
Our
But
spiritual
it's like
belief
a
are aligned.
exactly, and it's just nothing quite. There's nothing quite like that.
It's a different feeling. It's a different feeling going to church, just being around the people. Obviously I'm an introvert, but I go to church and I be by myself, but I just feel people's aura. I feel people's energy when we're worshiping the same God and receiving the same message at that time. And for everybody to be like feeling it, or embracing what we're learning and have a strong head in that belief is amazing. Um, that amount of faith in one room is strong. Like that's a think about the different walks of life you're around. Like you don't know what anybody's going through, but for all us to put whatever we're going through aside and come in this room and worship Him and build up our faith and become stronger spiritually and spiritually connect with each other indirectly is, I think that's second to none.
I think that's one thing that the Christian religion does really well as well. There's a few religions that do it well, but I just say Christian just because it's what I
Yeah.
know. But it's like the Bible study, doing that with people, and like not just like studying, like reading the Bible by yourself, but like talking about it. You talk about like feeling people's aura when you're at church, but I think it's something that might be even more important than that is like discussing it, because people have different listening patterns. You know, like you're naturally you're not going to be 100% locked in the whole service. You're gonna
Right.
you have a thought in and out of your head. You're going to be thinking about, oh, what am I doing for dinner? You know,
Right.
so you're not going to hear everything. People have different thought patterns, and I think something that people do really well within the Christian religion is discussing the ideas and discussing the intentions, uh, and then how you're supposed to act off of that. Like what does that mean?
How you supposed to act off of it?
Yeah, so like what is that? What is one like how you're supposed to carry yourself, but then it also being like in a non-judgmental way. Like yeah, you shouldn't have sex before marriage, but if you do, it's okay.
That's
Do,
just
do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's amazing you said that. My aunt slash godmother, she's an angel, I believe, and we talked about that. So now I change up the music I listen to in my vehicle. Um, it's aura music and it's worship music,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about that. And I'll get to that point. Everybody is in a different stage in their life. Everybody's in a different walk in their life. God loves us and He knows us. He knows what we do. He knows the certain things we do may be bad, but He knows that's not our heart. It may not be your time or your journey to fully stop doing something. Maybe you are working your way through it. Maybe you slow it down, because you've been doing it for so long, it becomes a habit. So maybe you're slowing down and maybe um, you eventually move away from it. Or you repent, and He understands. And that's one thing I learned. He is an understanding God. Now, if you're trying to go against Him, then it's a little bit different. But if you're being genuine and you're pure of heart and you're living out your day-to-day life for Him, but you make a mistake, we're human. We're not Him. He's the one that doesn't mess up. He's the one that's all knowing and almighty. We're human. We're going to sin, but we're not sinners. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sin, but we're not sinners. So
How do you mean that? Because I feel like we are sinners.
so sinners are different. Sinners do it knowingly, willingly.
Okay.
We sin because we're not God. We're not
Imperfect. Yeah.
Christ. We're
Right.
imperfect. We have free will.
So would you say the only sinner is the devil?
Yeah, I would say either that or people who directly do it
Mm-hmm.
or trying to go against God. And there's no judgment against them. Everybody has their own stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
um, we're we sin we eat. Eating meat is a sin. If you didn't know that, yeah, we're not,
I had
we're
no
not
idea.
supposed to. So like we sin, but we're not sinners. It's not like you're deliberately doing it. Like
Hey, I'm gonna keep eating meat though.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not
Like,
gonna stop. Hey, a
but
steak and
God,
steak is good.
but God knows you. He knows that.
Right.
He knows that about you. He knows that steak and whatever chicken is something that's for you,
Right.
right? So like, um, it's just different walks in different times. Like whatever we're going through, like certain music I used to listen to, I may listen to a little bit now. That don't mean I'm not walking in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I may have a urge to feel the beat or the rhythm of the music,
Right.
but that
Right.
I'm
Right.
not I'm not implanting that into my psyche. I'm not going
Right.
against God's will to directly live that way.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does. It does to me, because it's just like just because you do something that's bad doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah,
It's like
I agree with that.
I've it's really interesting because I'm someone who has had a lot of a lot of people do things that I didn't like to me,
Mm.
and I've never and like to the point where if they had done that to someone else, most people would have said, I hate that person, I don't like that person, da 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 da, and they would judge that person, and they would say that is not a good person. And it's not to put myself on a pedestal, but I just feel like I feel like people just take things too personally sometimes. It's like, man, they did a bad thing. Yeah, you were the victim in that instance, but like,
Who knows what they're going through?
maybe it had nothing to do with you. Maybe you were just on the receiving side,
Yeah,
and they were gonna do it to someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
that begins with um, knowing yourself too.
yeah,
Like if you know, I'm not very confrontational, but I can be. So it gets to a certain things that happen. It's like I get it. I feel like you're going through stuff. I understand that we all go through stuff.
right,
It is what it is. So I don't judge people off that. I judge people off sitting down and having conversations like this. I think that's the most important thing. Judging them off this and their actions after that.
mm-hmm.
Okay, I see you for what you are right now, but until I get to know you and understand probably why you were acting like that, or see how you act after, then maybe I'll read you a little bit better.
Right. I feel like a lot of people also like people a lot of like shy to like ask a lot of questions,
Mm-hmm.
so they're just like make a lot of assumptions, and then it's just like,
Because it's easy.
right, it's just a simple way. It's like sometimes I feel like people might think I'm really nosy because I ask a lot of questions about people, and
Mm-hmm.
like I'd like, like if they're talking about something, or if I just say a conversation that looks really interesting, I might try and get involved. Like, it's obviously if I can read a room, and like if it's not appropriate to get involved, I won't get involved. But it's like I just try and know a lot. Like, I just try and get to know
Yeah.
people. I just try and get to know information just because I like knowing things.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
like,
nothing wrong with that.
but it's like I just feel like it's something that a lot of people I feel like lack. Maybe maybe that's just ego. Maybe that's just me trying to. I don't know. But I just feel like a lot of people need to like try and really get to know things and accept that if you don't know something, then you don't know something, and you need to not try and fill the blank. Like instead of trying to fill the blank, and instead of trying to like come up with this assumption of, oh, this person did this because da 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 and this
Yeah.
and da da and oh, why did they say that like this, because oh, do they not like me, or you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I try to. I'm a person who likes to see every aspect.
Mm,
Um, so when it comes to that, I'd be like, well, maybe what you were taught when you were younger, you didn't know. Like maybe what they knew, your parents knew, and what you is now translated over to you. So maybe you don't see things a certain way. So I don't really fault them um, or get mad at them. I was like, I understand, man. Like I truly get it because um, you may be in a position or you may have learned something or been in an environment where you assume all the time or where you just been in a place or been taught that that's okay. So I try not to get mad at I don't get mad at people about that. I just view it from all aspects. And then if somebody wants help or asks for it or asks me my opinion, then I'll try to say it and indirectly hopefully that opens up their mind too.
yeah, it's a great thing. It's just like accepting that a lot, like seeing how, like, I think that's another great thing about analyzing your own life,
Mm-hmm.
is that it teaches you how much someone else's experiences has affected their own life. So I mean by that is like the things I don't like about myself, I know where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but just like just say there's like something about yourself that you just don't really like, and you're like, it's not something you don't hate yourself for it. And you're just like, man, I just wish I was a little bit less. I wish I was a bit louder. I wish I was a bit more confident in myself. It's like, well, yeah, but then I look back at my life and I'm like, yeah, I see why I can lack confidence sometimes, because X, Y, and Z happened in my life, and yeah, that took some confidence away from me, and I'm working on getting that back, and this, that, and the other. It's like I understand that, and then you can flip that coin and then be like, so maybe that's why that person's a little bit arrogant, because so maybe at one point in his life he was like everyone was here boosting his ego, and that fed into his confidence. And maybe he's working on becoming a little bit less arrogant, and I just don't know it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh, that's a good point. That's a good way to view it. I agree with that.
Uh,
I agree
good.
with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Um, I really don't know where else to go with this, but
Yeah.
I know with like going back to like, the religious aspect. I mean, you're something that you helped me a lot with it, just like figuring out.
I appreciate
It
that.
wasn't anything like it wasn't like we discussed it a lot, but it was how you carried yourself because you were intentional in your religion and you were intentional in the things that you were saying, and you were intentional in like you speak from your heart. Like I don't think I've ever gone to someone so quickly as I've gone to you and said, I like you as a person. Like when you came here halfway through the
Yeah.
year
Yeah,
last
I
year,
remember that.
and it was like 2 weeks in, like you'd
Yeah.
literally been here for like, I'm right. It was literally
Yeah.
like 2 weeks.
It wasn't that long.
It was,
Sure.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I like you. I just came up to you right before
Yeah.
practice. We were just getting shots up, and I was like, I like you, bro. I don't know what it is, but I was like, I like you. You're different from a lot of Americans, and it's not to disrespect Americans. It's more to just
I
say
understand.
you're different.
Yeah.
Like there's something about you where like you hold yourself with a certain intentionality that a lot of people don't, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah. I pre
But
from from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate that because for a long time, um, I used to hear you're special, you're different, but you hear it so much, and you hear it from so many people. You're like, all right, well, maybe y'all just saying this now just because everybody else saying that, or you hear it so much where you get consumed, and you like, dang, am I really special? Like, what am I doing? So you trying to figure it out, and then I wind up doubting myself because I was trying to figure it out so much. But now I'm at the point where I appreciate stuff like that because I pride myself on being the best version of myself. And if I'm the best version of myself, I can help others. I can just walk around and, like you said, just how I carry myself can attract certain people that need to be attracted in my life. So I really do appreciate that. I thank you a lot for that. That means
no,
a lot.
of course, but it's just you're someone who just like you carry people along with you. It's just like you are a natural leader, even though like I don't think I've ever been around someone who talks so little but leads so much. It's just like you really don't say a whole lot in practice.
No,
Like you hardly
no,
speak unless it's like a
yeah.
defensive rotation. You talk about I'm on ball, I'm in help, da 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 da. But it's like you really not like you
Took me a
really
while to get to that point though.
right.
I've always been to myself, but I've always some at a certain point in my life I spoke a little bit too much. But I knew deep down I was that was the real version of me.
How
Is
did you make that adjustment?
just by being quiet.
Yeah, like how did you go from like you said you was at certain
Oh,
points you were speaking too much, and then how did you make that adjustment to come to
I've always
even your level yourself out?
I always admired people who can be around a lot of other people that talk or be in conversations and just be quiet and just listen. Like I feel like that's a huge quality that could take you so far in your life because man, my dad and my mom say this: you have two ears and you have one mouth. Like listen and be quiet. So now it's like um, I don't really have too much to say because I just don't. I be so consumed with trying to um, myself.
Mm.
And I used to think this was of recent. I used to think this was selfish in a bad way, but it's selfish in a good way. I want to figure myself out so bad that day to day it's a journey, and I'm walking that walk. So now it's not much I need to say. It's not much that I should say unless it's needed. When I do talk, it's thoughtful, it's genuine, it's pure, it's with heart and intent. It's not just BS. I don't like that. I don't um yeah, I don't like that. I've never been a person to really talk just to talk unless I'm with my siblings and I'm just joking around. But I feel like you can learn so much more by just shutting up and paying attention.
Mm.
So much more you can learn from that, seeing how people are, That's how I learned so much about people.
Mm.
Just being quiet and just watching the room and literally being observant. You learn so much by doing that. So I pride myself on how far I've came in that aspect.
See, I was really different there in that respect. Because like the way my brain works is like I'm always in like hyperactive mode. Like I'm the type of person like I could be like there could be 10 people around me and one new person could walk into the room and like I'll notice and like I'll always be noticing everything. I'll always notice like my brain is hyperactive.
Mm.
Um, it shows in the basketball court. Um, sometimes it's helped. A lot of times it doesn't. But it's something that has helped me a lot in my non-athletic life because it's kind of been, like you said, like that's kind of what's been allowed to help me notice what people and notice and think about other people because you can only think about yourself so much. So when your brain is in hyperactive mode, telling you all this stuff about yourself that you don't even want to know, it's like eventually you just gonna start thinking about other people as well, and then you start thinking about this other stuff we've spoken
Yeah.
about, where it's just like analyzing other people and everything we've spoken about so far. It's like I don't know. It's like I kind of had to like learn to quieten my brain, and because I couldn't get it to slow down. I tried that in every way I could. Um, so I just kind of learned to hear it and just be like, and just kind of label with that thought for what it is, even if it's an egotistical statement,
Yeah.
such as like you're better at this person at da 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 da. It's like, okay, well that's my ego. Or if actually, you know what? Not even to move on to that point, but just like when I would get my brain, I learned this maybe when I was like I want to say around 15 years old, because I learned to turn that egotistical state, and I actually did this before I even realized what I was doing. And it was only last year that I really realized that I'd been doing this whole time. But it was like learning to turn that egotistical statement into a benefit for someone else. So when my brain's telling me, "Man, this person sucks at this," da 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 da, and I'm like, "Well, why? Like, how is that information going to help you right now?" And be like, "Go and tell them, but don't tell them like a dickhead. Go and tell them like, hey, bro, like you should get better at your left hand, like driving and getting to the rim with your left hand, because right now it's pretty easy to guard.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to guard you right now." And just like turning a negative egotistical statement into a positive benefit for someone else, and like trying to turn things that, and it could, and I did try, and it wasn't, and like I don't say this to try and be like I'm the best person ever. I'm always trying to help others. Like no, I do the same thing for myself. Like when my brain is telling me like, oh, you suck at da da da, it's like, okay, well, how can that help me? Okay, well, how do I get better at that? And it's like trying to learn how to turn attacks into positive
Yeah.
reinforcement and positive. Yeah, I don't know what the word is exactly, but
Positive thoughts and positive affirmations to other people.
right.
You can, I would say one thing that helped me with that is first praying about it. I ask for help, and I'm not too prideful to ask God for anything. I surrender all my weaknesses to Him. He knows everything. So I'm not prideful in asking for help. Um, but outside of just religion, it's just you like wanting to fix it. So whether it's what you listen to, whether it's what you watch on TV, movies you watch, the people you hang around, there's certain things that if you want your life to be positive, you would treat it as such. So you would view things in this world as positive instead of negative. Of course, things are what they are. Of course, situations are what they are. We're human. But if you go into it and seeing more of the negative than the positive, there's always a positive in whatever we're going through in life, no matter what it is. You can always see a positive and find a way out of it. So once you start getting to that point where it's like, okay, I really want to do this. So how do I do it? All right, so how do I do it? Let me change this. Maybe this ain't working. Okay, that didn't work. Let me change this. It's like it's not easy. It's a journey. everything in this life is a journey, and it's gonna be hard, and it's every single dayness. It's not. I could take a week off, maybe next month. Nah, it's everydayness, but it becomes something that you're willing and wanting to do once you see the results. Oh man, I can control my thoughts. Man, I don't respond negatively to certain things now. I see it as an opportunity to control how I react or control my thoughts. That's how I view things. Like, man, if something happen and most people will be angry or just immediately buck up, I just be like, uh, you know, like it happened. Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't control you. I can't control other people. I can just control how I respond to it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to respond in a negative way. I want to be positive. I preach that in my life: positive, genuine, and pure. That's what I want to be, and that's what I am, and that's what I will continue to be, because that's what I want for my life, and that's what God has been putting on my heart. So it's a journey to get there, but if you're willing and really want to, find things around your life what you need to change and alter that into it being positive, and most importantly, self. Like, you have to become selfish in certain aspects so you can learn that, because it's selfish of you to continue to act like that and still be around your friends,
Mm.
because it may rub off. And your aura, people are big. I guess people understand auras and vibrations. They will pick up on that, So um, remove yourself if you need to, figure it out, then come back and be a part of whatever you need to be a part of. But um, I say the most important thing is learning yourself first. Learning yourself. Once you learn yourself, you spend time with yourself, and you like actually want to, then you could be a good friend to others. I don't think we're good friends to everybody consistently because everybody's going through their own thing. Like, if you had a bad day, this is just how I view it. If you had a bad day and your friend is all giddy and you're staying around them even though you're bad, and you're waiting on their energy and you're only around them because they're happy and you're trying to pull for them, I feel like that's a negative. That's selfish of you. Why would you take away from somebody else's happiness because you're dealing with something? Now remove yourself from the situation, figure it out, and then come back. I think that's fair. Um, Not other people view it that way, which I totally understand and I get it, but that's how I view it.
That's an interesting perspective, but you can also see how someone going through something might wanna be around someone
Yeah,
who's
that's
who's
why
happy. But it's like
I understand.
you can see how you can see how you can see that thought process. Like
Yeah,
it's not hard to understand. But I also get what you mean when you
but
say it's
that's just for
selfish
me.
too. Right,
That's just for me. That's not everybody
right.
else. I learned that too. I can't put off what's going on in my mind, how far I've been came in my journey for self and all of that on other people. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody
Hmm.
view things different, and I'm not mad at that. I hope it works. I hope it works. Like, I genuinely hope it works
Hmm.
for you, no matter what it is. So I wouldn't. I'm just saying that from my perspective.
So like, what if you've got plans with someone for like you've made like a month in advance, and you wake up that day, you have a terrible first half of your day. It gets to lunchtime, and you're supposed to get lunch with this person, and you're like, man, I'm in a terrible mood, and this person, man, they could really uplift me right now. What's your thought process right then?
Um, I would say first thing first. I don't believe in terrible days. I believe in just like bad moments.
Hmm.
We dictate how our day goes. If something happens that we can't control, it happens. But how you respond to it is up to you. So if we had a rough practice, after I leave practice, if my day continues to be rough, that's
It's on
on
you,
me.
right?
That's on me. So I wouldn't do that. But if I'm just not
You're in a bad headspace as you're about to be leaving the door.
if I'm in a bad headspace, I'm gonna be upfront and honest with that person. Hey, I just want to let you know, I would love to see you, and if you're still free, um, another day or this time, we can still hang out. But I'm letting you know if it's because I'm only hanging out with people I value.
Mhm.
That's just who I am. So I can be honest and truthful with them. I'll be truthful with anybody. If I don't want to spend time with nobody, I'm gonna say it. That's just me. But
Right.
um, if it's like that a month in advance, I'll be honest. Like, hey, I had a rough start to my day. Um, coming to you, just letting you know where I am in my day, and I don't want it to rub off on you. So if you feel me being down, please let me know. I'll just be honest. That's a real friend. Yeah, telling your friend like, hey, bro, I had a rough day, man, and I know we said we was gonna hang out, and I know you're probably super excited, but I'm just letting you know, especially if I still want to go, I'm letting you know I'm still coming, but I had a rough
Just
one.
understand this is the headspace I'm coming into it with. Right,
Cause like they don't know.
right.
They don't know what's going on in your life. Nobody knows what's going on in your life besides you.
Hmm.
So how can you assume that they can read you or understand how you how you go act when you get there? They
Yeah,
they excited to see you, so they just assume excitement.
right,
But and then you come there and they're like, dang, you don't want to be here, you don't want to be with me. But
right.
it's not that. I just had a bad moment before I came here, and I'm trying to
Hmm.
gather myself together so I can embrace these moments I have with you. Because I
Right.
don't get these moments back. I don't get this time back.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I just feel like pure honesty. Be honest. If you still want to go, go. If you don't. Man, that's just how I view it. People who know me understand that and know that's just me. Um, not saying I don't love them or want to spend time with them,
Right.
but if I need time to myself, I need time to myself. Because who knows what would have happened in that month? Would have been could have been a rough one,
Hmm.
And I just needed that hour or that day to myself. And if I'm going to hang out with you, you will understand that because I don't just hang out with anybody.
Hmm.
So
I think that's a great tool. Like the complete honesty of being like letting them know before you even show up. Like, hey, just letting you know, like I'm gonna still come if you want me to come, but like I'm just not in a good headspace right now. I've not been like I'm not great at that, and like I do assume in that regard, even though I did just speak down on that. But that is something where I do kind of just like I kind of go into my shell a bit more, and I kind of assume that this person can clearly tell I'm not in my usual headspace.
yeah,
When really and truly, they don't care. Or it's not that they don't care, but they don't know. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely a great trick. I'm gonna have to steal that one. It's just like it's something so basic,
yeah.
and it's like yeah, obviously they don't know.
That's us humans though. We overlook the stuff, and yeah. I think that's important though, man. That's not an easy task either. Being completely honest. Um, some people not gonna like it, but like I'd rather tell you the truth than lie to you.
Right,
You know?
right, and it teaches you who can take the truth as well. Like it teaches you who really wants to hear the truth and who just wants to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, yeah, man. I got something for that. I appreciate that. You take it from me. Good.
But
That's good.
you got anything you want to add? Because I'm about to just wrap this up. If you got nothing
No,
to add,
man. I appreciate you for having me on. I really do. Um,
great.
wish nothing but the best for you. Now I continue to be myself, and hopefully that continues to help you. So
I have no doubt it will.
yeah,
But all right. For those listening, remember your growth is limited when you're alone. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter at the_growth_net. I hope to hear your thoughts and feedback there soon. Until next time, grow together.